Lobo is the most broken villain in DC. After he learned that he could only be killed by his own species, he single-handedly annihilated his entire race with an army of scorpions for fun, making him immortal. He is the most feared intergalactic bounty hunter, and is not even allowed in heaven or hell because the gods cannot control him. He can track his targets across universes from a scent, and regenerate from a drop of blood within seconds. His strength is so great he has knocked out and killed Superman out of boredom. At the peak of his power, Lobo was feared across galaxies, and the Justice League didn't dare fight him. He is even immune to telepathic abilities and mind control, but his intellect is his most powerful ability. Lobo's will is strong enough to overpower Green Lanterns, and he can calculate the weaknesses of outer-dimensional enemies to destroy them. With his Red Lantern ring, he once killed the entire DC universe, and then punched and killed DC's comic editor and his own writer.
When Wolverine meets his father in Hell, he tells Logan that he's been looking forward to this moment ever since he sent him down here. Thomas admits that when he first arrived in Hell, all he could think about was revenge, but after seeing how many people his son has killed, the only thing he wants to tell his son is that he's proud of him. Logan is speechless, but Thomas tells him that he doesn't have to say anything, just go and be the man he was meant to become. However, Thomas's compliments are short-lived, because when Logan defeats Sabretooth, the current ruler of Hell, he has a chance to take his place, but instead of becoming Lord of Hell, Logan declines. This angers Thomas, because he wanted to rule Hell together with his son. He tells Logan that he's no son of his, and in response, Wolverine cuts his father's face with his bone claws, and agrees with him.
While the Avengers are fighting a giant monster in Manhattan, Thor's hammer suddenly appears and strikes the creature's head. As Iron Man goes to investigate, he sees that Thor has left a message for the Avengers and playfully asks if anyone has a Sharpie. Back on Asgard, Thor has become the new All-Father and is sending his hammer across the 10 realms with a message for peace in the galaxy. He summons Mjolnir back to his hand and asks his wife if she was impressed with his throw. He then notices a message from Iron Man teasing him about his retirement. To exact his revenge, Thor sends his hammer to Broxton, Oklahoma, where an elderly man witnesses the event. He then contacts someone for assistance, which turns out to be Tony Stark. Tony is curious about the unexpected arrival of Mjolnir, and also how the man was able to contact his private number. As Tony investigates the hammer, he is surprised to see that Thor had inscribed Tony's personal number, along with explicit instructions to call him on Mjolnir.
Green Lantern takes off his ring and gives it to Batman, and although Batman turns it down at first, he eventually gives in and puts it on, but it surprisingly didn't work right away. Hal therefore tells Bruce that they both watched something they couldn't change as children, so in order for the ring to work and help him overcome his fear, he needs to live with a tragedy that happened and let his imagination take over for a split second. And as the ring slowly began to shine, Hal encourages Bruce to put that horrible night behind him and take control of the ring, but just when it seemed to be working, the ring shut off, rejecting Bruce, because as he himself stated, he didn't want to put that night behind as he's not ready to do that yet. Bruce then thanks Hal and hands him back his ring, telling him that he's happy to have him back.
Plastic Man sneaks inside a prison at the deepest part of the ocean to free his son Luke, who was imprisoned for standing up to Superman's regime. Patrick finds Luke's cell and flips off the camera after turning his finger into the key. He frees every superpowered criminal and gives Luke Mirror Master's belt, telling him they need to free the others. Superman gets word on the prison break and flies over with the Justice League. Metamorpho, aka the Warden, approaches Patrick and tells him this is over. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. Superman and the Justice League knock on the trench bubble. Patrick calls out to Kilowog and throws all the Green Lantern rings he stole to him and his friends. An enraged Sinestro blasts through the glass bubble and kills Kilowog. Patrick stretches out and closes the hole up. Since everyone here would die if the roof collapsed, Luke uses the belt and leads all the inmates to safety. Luke tells his dad that they must leave, but Patrick says he can't move. Luke says he knows it would be easier to die here than hang out with his son who he abandoned. Patrick agrees and they leave before the trench explodes.
Who is the Black Beetle? The Black Beetle is a supervillain from the future who wields the Scarab, a powerful alien weapon. He originally posed as the Blue Beetle of the future, but in reality, he was one of the Time Stealers, a group of time-traveling supervillains. Black Beetle was convinced that Jaime Reyes was to blame for the death of his sister, and he should prevent him from becoming the Blue Beetle. The character also made an appearance in Young Justice, although he was portrayed differently. In the show he serves the Reach, an alien race that originally created the Scarab, but in the comics he's not associated with Reach in any way.
After Superman reveals Batman's identity to the entire world as punishment for betraying the Justice League, the Justice League fly to the Batcave to confront Bruce, who comes out to face them alone and tells them they took his life from him. Wonder Woman threatens Bruce and tells him that if he acts against them again, they will respond with force. Flash approaches Bruce and tells him that he can't walk away from him. So Batman literally flies to the sky, and they realize it's Martian Manhunter pretending to be Bruce. They chase after him, but he disappears. Suddenly he comes out of nowhere and knocks Green Lantern out. Superman asks Manhunter why he's working with Batman. Manhunter says he wants to show Clark something. He explains that he knows how it feels to lose someone he loves and feel helpless. Suddenly Wonder Woman grabs him by the head, but he goes inside her, explaining that he can easily strangle her organs, cut off oxygen to her brain, and kill her instantly. She screams at Clark, telling him to burn her. So Clark blasts his heat vision at full strength, burning Manhunter alive, while Bruce watches from afar.